Hello, welcome. So grabbing 2 blocks today, or if you have 2 books, just something that you can use to bring the floor a little closer to you. And then if you have a pillow or a bolster at home, grab that as well. You can also roll up a blanket. This will be for the end for restorative shapes. And anything else that you'd like. It's nice being at home. You can have as many props as you want. Also, I'm going to be doing some stuff in standing, some balance stuff, some mobility stuff. So if you want to have a chair or a wall close by, that might be nice if the balance is a little off for you today. So that's an option as well. And just make sure that your sound is off, that you're muted. And I just want to remind everybody about the group fitness, the 22-day group fitness challenge. If you're interested in it, message Derek. It's a great way to keep us moving, keep us, helps us get through all this right now. So if you want to sign up for that, there was an email sent out as well. So we'll get started. Welcome to the virtual world, back at it again. I'm Patricia, for those of you who haven't met. It's a flow, it's a vinyasa flow, mobility, strength, and then a little bit of restorative at the end. So take breaks whenever you need to, modify whenever you need to, and we'll get started. So we're gonna come to a 90 degree angle position. So like a different type of pigeon position, different type of hip opener, where the right shin is parallel to the top of the mat, the left shin is parallel to the side of the mat, and my knees are at 90 degree angles. And then you're just gonna come onto your fingertips and start to face forward. And I just want you to start to find some movement here. So I just want you to kind of move around in your right hip. So kind of massaging your right sit bone, starting to feel the sit bone a bit more rooted into the ground, and then switch directions. And just we're starting to kind of let go of whatever we're holding in and around that right hip joint. And then we'll come to stillness here. I really want you to root down through the right thigh, the right foot as much as you can. And then sit up a little bit taller. So trying to lengthen through, especially that right side of your waist and the right rib cage. And then just take an inhale here as you lengthen, let the shoulders lift up a bit. And then on the exhale, let the shoulders soften down away from your ears. And just try that again. So inhaling, let the shoulders lift up a little bit as you inhale. And then exhale, see if you can root down a bit more through your legs, through your pelvis. And just try that one more time, maybe closing down the eyes as we just start to arrive on our mats and into our body. And then we're going to start to walk the hands forward. Okay, just until you start to feel a stretch. Okay, you can be on your fingertips, you can be on your blocks, it's all up to you. And we'll just inhale here, just start to notice what you're feeling. And then exhale, let yourself settle a bit more into the shape. And then we'll walk our hands over to the left so that your face is kind of hovering your ankle. And it's going to be a little bit different here. Keep the leg really rooting down through the ground. It's going to want to lift. Take a breath, inhale and exhale. And then walk your hands over to the right. So it's kind of like a little bit of a gentle twist here. So inhaling and let yourself settle a bit more on the exhale. And then we'll come back through center. Maybe you go a tiny bit deeper. You might come down to the forearms. Your belly might touch your thigh. You might let your head go. Take a nice good inhale here. And a nice good exhale. Now we're going to walk our hands back. If you have a block, you're going to hug a block here. So you're going to hold onto the block, bring it right to your chest, hold onto your shoulders. If you don't have a block, you can just clasp your hands at your chest. So it's going to create some stability here, some work in the center as we start to lift the back leg up. Now lift it and then try to lift the knee up towards the sky. So you feel this external rotation in the thigh bone. And then see if you can extend that left leg any amount that you can. And then we bend it back in, Lift the inner thigh, lift the inner knee, and then place it back down. And we're going to try not to lean too much to the right, but you're going to lean a little bit. Okay, now we'll extend any amount that you can. Bend your knee, find your hamstring, and then keep lifting the inner thigh, inner knee, and then see if you can place the leg and the foot down. Just try this one more time. There might be some cramping. If there is, massage it out, release it for a second, and then come back into it. Bend the knee and then circle it all the way back around. Place the foot down, release the block, and then you're going to lean away. So take your hands behind you and just lean away so that you feel that nice stretch there in the left hip possibly. And then we'll go window wipers. So taking the knees side to side, moving through your feet. So outer, inner edges of your feet, and just massaging through those glutes. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly face the front of the mat and just switch. So taking the left leg forward, the right leg back. So same thing, setting up those knees at 90-degree angles, left shin parallel to the top, right shin parallel to the side. Come onto your fingertips. Inhale, lengthen through both sides of the waist. And then exhale, settle your shoulders onto your back. Maybe close the eyes here. Inhale as you expand, as you find a bit more space. And then exhale, see if you can root down a bit more through that left sit bone. And just try that one more time. Inhale and exhale. And then find some circles here, a few circles in one direction, a few in the other. Just starting to release what you can in and around that left hip. And be as organic with this as you need to be. So getting into those spots maybe you don't normally pay attention to, and being a bit more curious about them. So once you're ready, walk the hands forward. You can come down to the forearms, you can come down to blocks if you want. So belly and rib cage are reaching towards each other. You're going to inhale and then let yourself settle in a bit on the exhale. Walk your hands over to the right so the face is hovering the ankle, the foot, inhaling here. Try not to let this left knee lift. Keep pressing it down through the ground. And then we'll walk our hands over to the left. A little gentle twist here. Inhale and exhale. Back through center. Go a little bit deeper here. Inhale. Go into it on the exhale. If you have a block, you're going to grab that. We're going to walk our hands back, take the block to the chest. And this just really helps us to find our core, helps us to find our center here so we can really focus on the right hip. So lean into your left hip a little bit and start to lift the right leg. Bring it all the way forward, knee points up, and then extend the leg any amount that you can. We're going to bend it back in. Lift the inner thigh, lift the inner knee. It's like a dog on a hydrant here. And then take the leg back down 2 more times. Okay, so lifting, bringing it all the way around. So noticing how this hip joint's a little bit different. Extends, bend your knee, find your hamstring. Lift the inner thigh, lift the inner knee, and then take the foot down, take the knee down. Try that one more time. Lifting that shape up exactly as it is. And then turn that knee to point up. So it's an external rotation. And then you're extending that leg any amount that you can. Bend it again, and then lift it up. Try to find that shape again. Place the leg down, release the block, and we're just leaning away. So take your fingertips behind you and just reaching that right knee forward and down, feeling a nice stretch there through that right hip. And then window wipering the knees side to side. So moving through your feet here, keeping the toes spreading, keeping the toes reaching towards your shins, and give yourself a nice massage. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to face the front of the mat again. Okay, we're going to take that foot into the groin and just make your way into a child's pose with the toes curled under. Have the blocks at the top of the mat. Curl the toes under and just walk the hands forward. So it's a child's pose in a toe stand here. Okay, and then I'm going to take the forearms down to the ground. Okay, I'm going to pull myself into my Chaturanga on my knees. So you're going to pull yourself forward, try to get your elbows above your wrist, find your Chaturanga. Push yourself up into your plank, puff up in between the shoulders, and then sit your hips back towards your heels. Take your forearms down to the ground. I want to feel my armpit muscles pull me into this chaturanga, push myself up into the plank, and then sit myself back towards my heels. Try that one more time. Elbows come down. Pull your hands back in space energetically. Feel those armpits, chaturanga. Push yourself up. Really feel the front body hugging into the back body. And then sit back towards your heels. Now you can stay right here. You're walking your hands back towards your knees. Stay here or walk the hands onto your thighs. You're gonna take your left arm across your chest, weave your right arm underneath. You're gonna inhale here, then find a little gentle twist to the right on the exhale. Come back through center, lift your elbow up, hold on to it with that right hand and come into the tricep stretch. And just tip a little bit over to your right. Come back through center, grabbing hold of both elbows, lifting, lengthening, and then opening up your arms into the cactus. Hug the elbows in towards the side of your body. Good. Take the hands back down and just tap the feet out for a second. Get a nice, just start to feel the energy in the toes and the feet. Okay, and then I'm going to step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Turn the toes out about 45 degrees and wiggle your left knee back. And just come onto the outer edge of your right foot. Walk your hands a bit forward and out. And again, finding some circles, moving a little bit side to side. And just letting the front of your left hip be nice and heavy so that you get into this left hip as well here. And then we'll walk our hands a bit more forward and out and just let your head go if that feels okay. Now feel like you could draw the outer edge of that right foot back in space energetically. Lift your inner ankle, keep the toes reaching towards your shin. Take one more breath. And then let her go. Walk your hands back in. Turn your toes to point forward. Step back to your toe stand. So curl the toes under. Sit back towards your heels. Walk your hands forward. Now I'm going to add on to this. You can keep doing the version we just did, or we're going to try to find a plank with the knees lifted. So take the forearms down. Pull yourself forward into your chaturanga. See if you can lift your knees. Push yourself up into your plank. Tuck your tailbone. And then hips up and back. Find your downward dog. Take your knees back down to the ground, your forearms back down to the ground. Again, pull yourself forward, using your armpit muscles here to pull. And then we're pushing as we come into the plank. Hips up and back, downward dog, really energize through your fingers. Take your knees back down one more time. Take your forearms to the floor. Pull yourself forward, try to get the elbows above the wrist. Maybe you straighten the legs. Push yourself up into your plank. Heating everything up, hips up and back, downward dog. Good, come down to the knees, into our toe stand again, sit back towards your heels. So you decide, you can walk your hands back, you can sit onto the heels, sweep the right arm across the chest, left arm underneath, just hug it in a little bit. And then on the inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist a bit to the left. Lift the elbow up to the sky as you come through center, tricep stretch, inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, tip a little bit over to the left. Keep pushing the elbow up into the hands. Come back through center, grab hold of opposite elbows, lengthen through the sides of the waist, and then open up your arms into the cactus or the W shape here as you open up the chest. You can take the hands back down, shake out your toes or tap out the toes, or just find some stillness and enjoy. We're going to take the feet to the floor, step the left foot to the outside of your hand. Wiggle your right knee back a little bit. Turn your front toes out about 45 degrees. And then come onto the outer edge of your foot. Walk your hands a bit forward and out. And then again, find some movement. Okay, so just becoming a bit more curious. I want you to keep your ankle and your foot active so that we get into the hip. We're not, straining into the knee at all. And then when you're ready, we'll walk the hands a bit more forward and out, and then see if you can let your head go. And then feel like you could drag the outer edge of your left foot back in space energetically. Keep your toes reaching towards your shin. One more breath. When you're ready, turn the toes to point forward, walk your hands in. We're going to step back to the tabletop, curl the toes under. Spread your fingers equally and lift your hips up and back. Find the downward dog. So this downward dog might feel a little bit better after all those toe stands here. Maybe the heels You get a little bit closer to the floor. Feel free to pedal the heels, to sway the hips, to shake out the head, to release through the jaw. Good. Take one more breath in your downward dog. And then when you're ready, we're going to look forward, teeny tiny steps to the top of the mat. So you can always be on blocks. You can be on your fingertips if you need to. Okay, we're trying to stay on the tippy toes, walk ourselves forward till our shoulders are above our wrists, and then take your feet down to the ground. Feet are about hips distance, lengthen halfway, inhale. Exhale, take your hands behind your calves and then fold yourself in. Try this 2 more times, wade into your toes as you lengthen, inhale. Exhale, fold yourself closer to your thighs. 1 more time, tailbone lengthens back, crown of the head reaches forward. And then exhale, fold yourself in a little deeper. Let the arms come down to the floor, and I want you to roll yourself up piece by piece. Tuck your tailbone. Feel the low back, feel the mid back, the upper back, into the neck. And then open up your chest. Take a moment in your Samastitihi. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to clasp our hands at our chest. So again, this helps me to find my center, find a gaze point. And then you're going to squeeze your right heel to your glutes. If you need a wall or a chair, this is where you'll use it. We're going to lift the knee up. We're going to take it out to the side, just like we did when we were on the ground. Okay, the knee will point up to the sky. You're going to extend that leg a little bit or a lot. Bend your knee and then circle it all the way back and take your knees back together. And just try that 1 more time. So lift your heel. I find my glute and hamstring firing. Take the knee out to the side. Eventually that knee will point up to the sky and it'll be on the diagonal here. Extend your leg any amount that you can. Bend the knee and then cross the right knee behind the left. So it's a curtsy squat. So knees are close together. Reach the arms up to the sky and then see if you can tip over to your left. So you feel that stretch in the right rib cage, the right waist. Bend your knees a little deeper. And then we're going to slowly unravel. So just keep turning to the right till you're facing the back of your mat and take your hands to your hips. Hug your elbows into the center of the body and open up your chest, stand tall. And then exhale, we're going to fold in. So keep hugging your elbows in towards your center. Fold yourself in towards your thighs. Let your head go. Halfway lift is your inhale. Walk your hands forward, your feet back, and come into a plank. You're facing the back of your mat. So tuck the tailbone, hug your forearms into center. Take a nice, generous breath here. Take your knees down. Reach your heart forward. Again, like you're pulling yourself into this Chaturanga. Go down nice and slow for 3, for 2, and then on the 1, I want you to come all the way down to the mat. Tops of the feet to the floor. Roll the shoulders into the back. We're going to hold this cobra. So inhale here, reach the heart forward. And then exhale, let yourself settle into this shape. Just try that 1 more time. So inhale, I lengthen, I find a bit more space. And then exhale, let yourself settle in a bit. And then slowly we'll look down, press into the hands and feet and start to lift into tabletop or plank. And then curl the toes under, find your downward dog. We're going to reach the right leg up and back, open up your hip, bend your knee. Again, squeeze the heel to the glute, find that hamstring, find that glute. We're going to take the toes behind us. See if you can land on the toes. You can come down to the bum a little bit. And then we're lifting up into our wild thing. So this can be a side bend or it can be a back bend. And then you're slowly going to come down. So we're going to try this 2 more times. You're on the outer edge of your left foot. You're on your right toes. And then slowly come down to the hip. Try that 1 more time. You can circle your top arm as well. I like a little bend in my bottom elbow. And then slowly come down to your hip. Face the front of your mat now. We're going to bend both our knees, plant the feet. Okay, I'm going to take my left elbow to the inside of my left knee. And I'm going to start to twist to the right. Okay, so both my feet are planted. My elbow is hugging my knee and I'm twisting to the right. Okay, so lengthen again through both sides of the waist. Maybe start to look over your right shoulder here. Get lighter on your back fingertips. Take 1 more good breath. We'll come back through center. You're going to extend your right leg. Okay, so it's like a half Navasana here. Reach your arms forward, low back in, chest lifts. And then slowly start to come down to your low back, but keep your shoulders lifted. Okay, once you get there, keep the legs lifted, the right leg lifted, and we're gonna pulse for 5. So lifting and lowering for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Lift up as high as you can. Take your hands down to the ground. Now you're gonna see if you can rock a couple times, as many as you need. Just rock a little bit back, rock a little bit forward, and try to lift your bum off the ground. If you want, you can use blocks here as well. Rock yourself back, rock yourself forward, maybe lift the bum and press through your left foot. I'm gonna try to keep my right leg lifted. If you want, you can just step forward to come up to stand. I'm gonna try to come all the way up to stand. Take my right knee into my chest. Clasp the hands at the chest and lean forward into your warrior 3. So my right leg is lifted here. Okay, and then just take a couple moments here. Again, hands can go onto blocks if you need. Now I'm going to take the hands down to the ground. Just take your toes down. I don't want you to reach or anything. I just want the toes to land where they are. So it's a shorter stance. Plant your right hand and keep turning all 10 toes to point to the left side of your mat. So outer edges of the feet, peel your left arm up. Good, reach the arm over your head. Keep turning to the other side of the mat. Parallel your feet, hold on to opposite elbows, and sway your arms over to the back leg. Good, try that again 2 more times. So come to the front of the mat, find your lunge first. Turn all 10 toes to point to the side of the mat. So you can be on your fingertips or your palm can be down. And then circle the arm over the head. Keep turning to the other side of your mat, parallel the feet, grab hold of opposite elbows, and just sway your arms over to the right till you feel that stretch in the left hip, the left waist. 1 more time, come through center, find your lunge first. Keep turning all the way to the side of the mat till all 10 toes are pointing to the side. You're pressing through the outer edges of your feet. And then circle the arm all the way to the other side. Hold on to opposite elbows. I just want you to stay here for a moment. Sway the arms over to that back leg. Take a breath, wade into your toes. And then we're going to turn the left toes to point forward, right heel out. See if you can hold on to opposite elbows. Lift your right elbow up, and this is your extended side angle. We'll come up into the warrior 2, and then we'll reverse it. Straighten your front leg and get a nice tricep stretch here. Again, pull the elbow down. Try this again. So what I want to find here is length through both sides of my waist. So reach your elbows as much as you can, and then come back to your warrior 2. And then reverse it. Straighten your front leg and find that little bit of a side bend. 1 more time. So again, I'm finding the side waist quite a bit, those obliques, and then come back to the warrior 2. If you ever want to just release and take your hand to the thigh, that's fine too. And then reverse it. Windmill your arms when you're ready. Take your hands to blocks of the floor and lift your right leg up. So you're in that warrior 3 again. Okay, low belly lifted. And then see if you can lift the left arm up and start to rotate to the left. So you're in a twist. I'm going to try to keep my pelvis level to the floor, my top leg straight. You need to bend your bottom knee. Slowly take the hand down, reach the toes to the floor, and take your right knee down to the ground. If you need a towel underneath your knee, grab that as well. Okay, coming into the low lunge, sweep your right arm across your chest, left arm underneath. Sink your hips a bit and start to twist to the left. Back through center, grab hold of your elbow. Tricep stretch over to the left. Keep pushing your elbow up into your hands. Back through center, grab opposite elbows. Pull the elbows behind you. Keep hugging the ribs in. And then open up the arms into that cactus. Now, can you back bend a little bit more here? Lift up and over something. Take your hands down to the mat. Step back into your tabletop. Curl your toes under. Sit back towards your heels again. So we're in that toe stand. Take your forearms down to the ground. Pull yourself forward into your chaturanga. So it can be on your knees or lifted. Push yourself up into your plank or your tabletop. And then hips up and back. Find your downward facing dog. Good. Take a couple moments here. We're going to take a few breaths. So try to slow it all down. See if you can wrap your armpits towards your heart and pushing through each finger here. Good. Take 1 more good breath. And then when you're ready, we're going to look forward. So I want to try to keep my arms straight, keep pushing through your hands, gaze is forward, and you're on your tippy toes. I'm trying to lift my hips up high, okay? If you need to, you can be on your finger pads here as well or on blocks. Once you get towards the top of your mat, feet land, halfway lift when you're ready, inhale. Exhale, fold yourself in a little closer to your thighs, straighten your legs a tiny bit more. Now roll yourself up, so tuck your tail, bend your knees, just like a rag doll, piece by piece. You come up to stand. Face is the last thing to arrive. Open up your hands, open up your chest. Inhale here. And exhale. Trying the other side, clasp your hands at your chest. Front body hugging into the back body. If you need a wall, grab it, or a chair. Take your left heel to your glute. So you find your hamstring, you find your glute. Lift it up, take it out to the side, any amount that you can. Knee will point up. I'll extend the leg a little bit. Bend the knee. Lift the inner thigh, just like that dog on a hydrant. Bring the leg all the way back behind you. And then knees touch towards center. Try that one more time. Keep your gaze focused on a point. Knee goes out to the side. Eventually my leg will be on that 45-degree angle. Extend the leg any amount, maybe a tiny bit more. Bend the knee back in. Lift it all the way back up. And then bring the legs back together. Good. We're just going to lift for a second, cross the knee behind, and come into that curtsy squat. So you can reach the arms up first and then lengthen over to the right. Okay, so try to bend both your knees, get your knees a little closer together. You're on your back toes, and I'm really pushing through the palms of my hands here. Okay, I'm going to take my hands to my hips and keep unraveling to the left so that you face the back of your mat. Inhale, hug your elbows in, lift your heart, straighten your legs. And then exhale, bum goes back, chest reaches forward, and then I fold into my thighs. Inhale, I lengthen, halfway lift. Take your hands down to the mat. Walk your hands forward, your feet back so that you're in a plank position facing the back of your mat. Now take a moment here, hug your ankles in, hug your forearms in, lift your navel up. Okay, now pull yourself into this. So you're gonna come onto your tippy toes, pull yourself all the way down to the ground for 3. Feel free to put your knees down for 2, for 1. Once you get there, tops of the feet to the floor. Good, roll the shoulders into the back. And this time we're gonna lift into our upward dog on our knees. So draw the shoulders back, bend your elbows a little bit, push down through the feet, inhale. Let yourself settle into this a little bit, exhale. Try to lift your low belly up here. So we're not dumping into the low back. And then let yourself settle into it. Push yourself into that tabletop, curl the toes under and find your downward dog. Take a breath here. We're gonna reach that left leg up and back, open up your hip, bend your knee, squeeze the heel to the bum. We're gonna reach the toes behind us as lightly as we can. Okay, you can take the bum right to the floor first and then lift your hips. Okay, so you wanna either be in a side bend or a back bend here. Take your hips down slow and controlled. So you're using those glutes quite a bit. I'm pressing down to the outer edge of my right foot, and I'm trying to lift my left heel up. And just try that one more time. Feel free to circle your top arm. Have a little bend in your bottom elbow so that shoulder can really come onto the back. And then slowly come all the way back down. You're facing the front of the mat now. Bend both your knees. My feet are walking a little bit more forward here, so they're not super close to the bum. And I want to be able to sit up nice and tall. Take the right elbow to the inside of that right knee and start to twist to the left. So fingertips behind you, kind of like a cactus arm or a stop sign position here. And I'm resisting the arm and the leg to help me twist a little deeper. Inhaling here. Exhale, maybe twist and look over the shoulder. Keep drawing the low back in. Keep lifting through the chest. And then when you're ready, we'll come back through center. So keep your right foot where it is and just extend your left leg. I still want to feel this hugging of my inner legs, low back in, chest lifted. So like half of Navasana. And then slowly start to come down to your low back. Keep your left leg lifted if you can. Once your low back comes to the floor, little pulses for 1, for 2, for 3. Keep spreading through your top toes, spreading through your fingers. Hold, lift, lift, lift. Take your hands down to the ground. This is the fun part. Rock yourself back, rock yourself forward. Now feel free just to rock yourself back and forward. If you want to add a little lift, you rock yourself back, hands press down into the ground. I lift my bum off the ground. Okay, you can also use your blocks here, rock yourself back. This helps to come all the way up to stand. So I want to push through my right foot, so you can come all the way up to stand, take my left knee into the chest. If you want, you're just stepping all the way up, come into this position. We're going to start to lean forward till we're in our warrior 3 stance. Okay, so take a moment just to find your balance here, level off your hips. And then we're going to take the toes just down. Don't reach the toes, just land them right where they are. Okay, so it's a little bit of a shorter stance. Left hand comes down to the floor. Turn all 10 toes to point to the side of your mat, so you're in outer edges of your feet. And then reach your arm over your head. Keep turning to the other side of your mat. Parallel your feet. Grab opposite elbows and sway to the back leg. Try that again. So keep walking yourself forward and then all the way over to the right side of the mat. Keep a flex in your foot. Reach the arm up a little bit higher and then circle it over your head. Keep turning to the other side of your mats. Grab opposite elbows and let the arms really reach over to the back leg. One more time. Come through center. Keep pivoting on your feet. Try to plant your left palm. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Lift up a little higher and then reach the arm over. Keep turning to the left. Hold on to elbows and sway to your back leg. Take a breath here. Inhale and exhale. Okay, here's the hard part. Turn the right toes forward, left heel out. So this extended side angle stance. Lift your left elbow up. So I'm going to try not to touch the ground or my thigh. I'm going to try to keep my arms lifted. Come all the way into your warrior 2. And then reverse it. Straighten your front leg and try to pull your elbow down a bit. Try that again. So bend your front knee above your heel. I want to really work on lengthening both sides of my waist a little more equally. Back to the warrior 2. And then I reverse it. Push through your front toes, straighten your front leg. Try that one more time. Can you lengthen your elbows? Keep reaching your elbows to the corner. Come back to your 2, so your shoulders are above your pelvis. And then reverse it. Windmill your arms down to the floor or down to blocks. Lift your back leg up. So you're back into that warrior 3 again. Toes and knees are pointed down. My low belly is lifting up. And then maybe I rotate. Reach the right arm up. Try not to drop your left hip here. Keep lifting that up a little higher. And engaging through your right shoulder. Keep the energy lifting through your top fingers. We'll take the hand back down. Reach the toes towards the floor. Come down to your low lunge. Come all the way up. Take the left arm across the chest. Right arm underneath. Now sink your hips a bit more. That knee can go past the ankle. And just twist a little bit to the right. We'll come back through center, lift the elbow up, tip over to your right. Back through center, hold on to opposite elbows, pull the elbows back a bit more, and then open up into your back bend. So lift the sternum, keep drawing the hips a bit forward and down, open up the arms, and then take the hands down to the ground. Step back to your tabletop, curl your toes under, sit back towards your heels. You're in that toe stand again. Okay, take your forearms down, pull yourself forward into your Chaturanga. Push yourself up into your plank or tabletop. And then hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good, 3 good generous breaths here. Slow the breath down. Notice if maybe the legs can straighten a bit more. Feeling those upper inner thighs wrapping in and back. We'll look forward, bend your knees, walk, step, or hop towards the top of your mat. Once you get there, feet together or hips distance, halfway lift, inhale. Take your hands behind your calves, fold yourself in on the exhale. Reach your arms up to the sky, energize through the arms. Standing tall, Samastitihi, exhale. Surya Namaskara A, inhale, full breath in. Exhale, full breath out as you fold. Halfway lift, inhale, lengthen. Bend your knees, plant your hands, you step, you hop, or you float, you decide. Plank position, reach the heart forward and come into your chaturanga. Keep pulling, pulling, pulling. And then upward dog, reach the heart forward. And then up and over the toes or 1 foot at a time, downward facing dog. Always an option here to bend the knees or to come down to the forearms. Holding here for 1. Okay, try to find a gaze point. There's lots of distractions at home. So we want to keep coming back to a gaze point or maybe a particular part of your body so that once you catch yourself wandering off someplace else, you have a point to come back to. And that is the work, just asking yourself to come back. We're going to look forward. You're going to bend your knees, create a little momentum. You walk, you step, or you hop to the top. Halfway lift. Maybe the fingers come down to the ground. Maybe get a little bit closer. And then exhale, fold. Maybe the palms come to the ground as you bend. Sweep your arms up to the sky. Inhale, shoulder distance or palms to touch. And then hands come down on the exhale. Let's try that one more time. Inhale, full breath in, lift the arms up. And then exhale, full breath out as you fold. Halfway lift is your inhale. Bend your knees, plant your hands, you step, you hop, or you float it back. Reach your heart forward, chaturanga, or down to the ground. Cobra or upward dog. Up and over the toes, 1 foot at a time, or feel free to use your knees. Curl the toes under and go to your downward dog. Okay, and then I really want you to keep finding that length in the sides of the waist. So keep pushing forward with your fingers and keep lifting those hips up and back. So again, you're starting to feel more and more traction, more and more space there. And just hugging those ribs in. So hugging your front body into your back body, just gently. One more breath here. Ooh, let her go. You're going to take your knees down to the ground, come onto the tops of your feet, and sit back towards your child's pose. So the arms can be forward or they can be down by your side. Your forehead can come down to the ground. It can come down to a block, or you can stack your knuckles. So you can do 2 tight fists and take your forehead down to the hands as well. And just take a couple moments here just to rest, just to bring your heart rate back. And just let yourself enjoy the energy, enjoy the stillness, enjoy doing a little less. Take one more breath here. And when you're ready, we'll slowly bring our hands forward. We'll come forward to a tabletop position and then curl the toes under, find the downward facing dog. Look forward, bend your knees, walk, step, or hop towards the top of your mat. Bring your feet hips distance apart, halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold yourself in. Roll yourself all the way up to stand, nice and slow. When you come up to stand, okay, I'm going to squeeze my right heel to my bum. So again, you can use the wall if you need. Clasp your hands at your chest. Squeeze your right heel to your bum. Try to keep your knees nice and close together. Okay, and we're holding. So you might feel, you need to release this and shake it out. Okay, but come back. This is just finding new muscles there that you're activating. Okay, now you're going to circle that knee out to the side. So lift it up first, take it out to the side on the diagonal line so that my hips are parallel to the top of the mat. Okay, and then I'm going to see if I can extend if I want. You can also hold onto your knee. You can hold onto your hamstring and work towards extension, or you're grabbing your big toe. Okay, first 2 fingers and thumbs. So if you're noticing that this is crunching, the left side is crunching, okay, I want you to scale it back. I want you to keep working on lengthening this left side, hugging this left hip in, standing up a bit taller. Take one more breath. Okay, if your leg is extended, you're going to bend the knee, Cross the right knee behind the left, curtsy squat. You can reach your arms over to the left, take a breath. Unravel yourself to face the back of the mat. Hands to your hips, inhale. Good, we're gonna fold ourselves in, grab the big toes, first 2 fingers and thumbs. You're gonna inhale and bend your elbows out to the side on your exhale. Let yourself be a little heavier with the head, shoulders away from your ears. I'm using my biceps here quite a bit. And then when you're ready, inhale, lengthen a bit, release your toes. Walk your hands forward, your feet back, find your plank position. Lower yourself down to the ground, nice and slow. Good, when you get there, find your cobra, tops of the feet to the floor, lift your chest. See if you can start to lift your feet. Take a breath. Slowly bring your feet down, bring your chest down. Push yourself back up, tabletop or plank. Curl the toes under, find your downward facing dog. Reach your right leg up and back, open up your hip, bend your knee. Reach your toes behind you, land as lightly as you can into the wild thing. If you want to take your bum down first to get into it, go for it. Okay, and I'm going to try. You can do this a few times. I like kind of moving around a little bit until I find a shape that feels good for me today. And then you're holding, take a nice deep breath. And then my hip will come down nice and slowly to the ground. Face the front of your mat. Okay, this time, both my feet come down to the ground. Okay, low back in, chest lift. You might stay here for your Navasana. You might be able to lift your legs. Take a moment here. I want you to feel each part of your spine, each part of the muscles along the spine starting to activate. Okay, we're gonna come down halfway, so low back comes to the floor. See if you can energize and reach your legs forward as much as you can. Good, take your knees into your chest, take your hands down, rock yourself up. See if you can come all the way up to stand. You take as many rocks as you need to. Come into your chair pose. Weight into your heels, lift your arms, and then we'll take our right knee into our chest. Good, coming into your warrior 3. Hands can come down to the blocks, down to the floor, or we're reaching the arms back. Take the toes down lightly. I don't want to reach, I just want them to land just where they are so that the stance is shorter. Right hand down, turn all 10 toes to point to the side of your mat. You're holding this guy. So really flex your feet, lift your inner ankles, and try to squeeze your upper inner thighs. Now, bring your fingers together and really energize your hands so the blood flow goes up into the hand as well, right? Up into the arm. Okay, so encouraging that. Chin comes to your chest a bit. One more breath if you can stay. Reach your arm over your head. Keep turning to the other side of your mat. Parallel your feet. Grab hold of opposite elbows and just letting yourself hang here. If you would like to come into a headstand here, if that's a part of your practice, you can give this a shot. Okay, clasp the hands behind the head, top of the head to the ground. If you're by a wall, that might be fun as well. You just lean a little bit forward and maybe lift your legs. Headstand is not happening today. You're in that forward fold with the wide legs. Good, take one more moment here, wherever you are. And then we'll slowly start to make our way down. Fingertips will come to the floor and you'll just lengthen about halfway. Turn your left toes forward, your right heel out. Okay, and then we'll come into our extended side angle. So forearm to the thigh. You can also use a block underneath your hands. Okay, we're reaching the right arm up to the sky. So try to really hug this left hip in, press down through your right foot, and really turn on this right quad as much as you can. Chin is in slightly, again, fingers together, energy through your hands. Beautiful, come all the way back up into your warrior 2, and then let's reverse it, left arm up and over. Windmill the arms, take the hands to the blocks or down to the floor. If you're using blocks, highest height, okay? If you can, hands underneath your shoulders, level your hips. See if you can bend your top knee. You can stay here, or you can start to reach your left arm back to grab your foot. You're reaching or you're grabbing. It's kind of like a quad stretch here. And see if you can open up your chest. Hold for 1, for 2. Little bend in your bottom knee might be helpful. We'll release. Good. Take the toes down to the ground. Take your knee to the floor. Good. Step back to your tabletop. Reach your heart forward. Lower Chaturanga. Upward dog or cobra. Good. We'll come into our toe stand again. So curl the toes. Sit back towards your heels. Okay, so staying here, you can walk your hands back or you're sitting on your heels, and make sure each pinky toe is also getting a stretch. And I just want you to relax into it. So relax the palms either up or down. Let the shoulders settle on the back. Close down through your eyes. And allow yourself to kind of settle into those more uncomfortable spots. If this is painful or too much at any point, you just take your hands forward. But again, if this is just challenging or it's just uncomfortable for you or just a sensation that you haven't paid attention to in a while, I want you to try to stay just a tiny bit longer. I'm taking one more good breath here. Then when you're ready, hands come forward, shake out your toes, or just let them hang. It's my favorite. Good. Tops of the feet to the floor, sit back towards your heels. Take a moment in your child's pose. Inhale. Almost there. Exhale. Good. Come forward to your tabletop. Curl the toes under. Downward dog. Looking forward, bend your knees, walk, step, or hop towards the top of your mat. Feet are going to be hips distance, halfway lift. Exhale, fold yourself in. Roll yourself up to stand, go slow. When you get up to stand, okay, clasp your hands at your chest or hold on to something. Squeeze your left heel to your glutes. So I love this just to get me to start to recognize that hamstring and that glutes. Hug your knees into center. Try to lift a little bit the frontal hip bones. Lift the knee up, take it out to the side on that diagonal line. Okay, you can stay here. You can hold on to the knee or the hamstring, or you can grab your big toe. You're working towards extension if you'd like. But again, I want to keep working on paying attention to lengthening both the sides of my waist. So if I notice I'm kind of crunching or leaning, okay, I want to scale back with the straightening of the leg. Okay, just take one more good breath here. Okay, we're going to rebend that knee, cross the knee behind, curtsy squat. You can reach the arms or clasp the hands again, reach the palms. Unravel yourself to the back of the mat, take the hands to the hips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, grabbing your big toes, first 2 fingers and thumbs, fold. Halfway lift, and I want you to use your arm strength here. So pull the elbows out, push down through the big toes, fold yourself in a little deeper. Can you straighten the legs a tiny bit more? Maybe shake out the head, yes and no. Inhale, we lengthen a bit, walk your hands forward, your feet back, find your plank. Good, pull yourself all the way down to the ground, nice and slow. And then once you get here, come onto one cheek or onto your forehead and let everything soften. Okay, let everything relax, soften through the ribs, relax through the diaphragm, let go of the belly. Come onto your other cheek if you're on a cheek. Just let your shoulders settle. When you're ready, we'll take our hands to the low ribs. Push yourself up. Curl the toes under, downward dog. Reach your left leg up and back. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Reach the toes behind you as lightly as you can. Feel free to come down to the bum first. And then lift yourself up. Okay, so turn your bottom fingertips in a little bit. That might feel better in your shoulder as well. Maybe a tiny bend in your bottom elbow. Maybe you like to move around a bit, right? Until you find a position that works for you today. And then slowly we'll take the bum down to the ground, face the front of your mat, coming back into that Navasana here. So low back in, chest lifted. Feel free to keep your feet on the floor, or you can lift your shins. Take a nice good breath, lifting your energy up. Come down halfway, Ardha Navasana. Energize through the legs, low back to the ground. Keep lifting your shoulders. Take the knees into the chest, hands come down to the ground. Rock yourself up as many times as you need to come up into your chair pose. So rocking yourself back, rocking yourself forward. Use your hands if you want, and come into the chair. So weight into the heel, low belly lifted. All right, take your left knee into your chest. Lean forward till you come into that warrior three. Feel free to take hands down to the ground or to the blocks. Okay, so again, we're just landing the toes down, just where they are. Okay, left hand comes underneath the shoulder, turn all 10 toes to point to the side. So it might feel a little bit better for you with this shorter stance. Keep hugging this left shoulder into the back, energy through your top hands. One more breath here. Reach the arm over your head, keep turning to the left, parallel your feet. Good, and this time your choice. You can hold on to the outer edges of your legs. You can clasp your hands or use a towel in between your hands for the shoulder opener. You can do another headstand if you would like. We'll just take one more moment here, lengthening through the spine or strengthening. And then if you're up, you're slowly starting to come down. We're going to lengthen halfway. Turn your right toes forward, left heel out. So again, do what you did on the other side. It could be a block underneath your hand, could be forearm to the thigh, and try to reach that left arm up to the sky in line with your shoulder, fingers together. So this is long line of energy. Okay, and then the same idea here. Try not to let your right side body crunch. I want to lengthen it as much as I can. So you want both sides to be nice and even. Back to your warrior two when you are ready. Reverse it just there for a moment. Windmill the arms so you're back into that warrior three. Okay, so lifting, my right toes are pointed forward, top toes are pointed down. Bend your top knee. You can stay right here, or you can reach your right arm back and start to twist to your right. So try to grab your foot, draw your shoulder back. So it's a little quad stretch. Try to keep your quad parallel to the ground or just working towards it. Take one more good breath. My hand will come down, my toes will come down. Just take the hands to the ground. Step back to your downward dog. Good. Come down onto your knees. Great work. Come onto one hip. And then we'll extend the legs forward. You're going to grab your pillow. Nice firm pillow. If you have a bolster, amazing. You can also roll up a blanket. Okay, we're going to take that down with us. You're going to come all the way down to your back. And we're going to take that bolster underneath the pelvis. So have it horizontal on your mat, supporting that flat bony part just above your bum crack. And you're just going to plant your feet here. Take your arms into the cactus and just let yourself settle. Close down through your eyes if that feels comfortable. And just try to relax what you can. And we use the prop here to help us really focus on that particular area of the body. So trying to relax what you can into the support of the bolster. And then I just want you to kind of move around a little bit. So those window wipers again. So you're massaging the glutes into the bolster. You're massaging the back of your pelvis. Now my hips are gonna go over to the left side of the pillow here, right to the edge. And then I want to bring my right thigh right onto that bolster, that pillow. Okay, so it's nice and supported. I'm going to do a nice gentle twist here. Toes can come down to the ground. I'm going to open up my chest to the sky. Again, cactus, where your arms can be straight. Okay, and just seeing if you can rest that whole side of the right leg into the pillow. And just feel this gentle rotation here. Try to relax what you can in the belly. Soften what you can in your jaw. And so just letting the breath start to find a different rhythm, a more natural rhythm. As we start to let go of the control we had over the breath. We'll come back through center, no rush at all. Come back through center and just level out those hips again. Give yourself a moment, maybe move around a little bit. My hips are gonna go over all the way to the right. So scoot your bum all the way over to the right first. So the whole outer thigh can be connected to the pillow. You're stacking the hips, you're stacking the knees as best you can. And then you open up. Okay, so this side's gonna be different. Try to keep the hip heavy, the thigh heavy. And just take a couple moments here. Good. Again, softening what you can in the belly, relaxing any gripping in your teeth, in your tongue. I'm just starting to feel there's a bit more space, there's a bit more length in your breath. And we'll come back through center, nice and slow. I'm going to lift the legs up to the sky. Okay, so I want to try to have my knees above my hip joints, and then you just work for extension there, but the knees can be bent. Arms wherever feels nice as we come into this nice gentle inversion. Try to have the chest nice and open. There's a gentle tone there in the low belly. We're starting to let those thigh bones release a bit heavier into those joints. Relaxing through each toe. One more moment here. We'll slowly start to bend the knees, take the feet to the floor. We'll lift the pelvis and just start to slide the bolster forward so it's underneath your knees. If you'd rather do legs up the wall or lay on your side, those are nice options as well for your Shavasana. Arms down by your side with the palms up. Just seeing if you can kind of lift a little bit through your chest, snuggle your shoulders underneath you, and then come back down. We'll take a little inhale here into the front body. And exhale to release your back body into the ground and into the prop. Surrendering, letting go of whatever it is you've been really chewing on, really focused on today, this week. Using this pose as an opportunity to let go of what you don't need. Let go of what is no longer serving you. You can make more and more space in the body, in the mind. Something more positive, something more nourishing. Sitting back and just basking in the space that you have created. What's amazing about practicing at home is you can stay here for as long as you need today. Restoring yourself, that you're ready for your week. You're ready to start coming back, just making the movements gentle. Eventually the knees will come in towards the chest and you can come over onto your side. Maybe taking a couple deeper breaths here. Pressing into your top hand, slowly roll yourself up to seated. Be on your pillow if you want, or on your block. Take our hands together in front of our hearts. And see if you found a bit more spaciousness there in the sides of the waist. Trying to find that when you're sitting, when you're standing, when you're walking. And just let the shoulders settle on the back as you bring your chin gently towards your chest. Thank all of you so much for sharing your energy today. Bowing our heads in complete gratitude. Namaste. If any questions or comments, you let me know. Enjoy your Sunday. See you next week.
Thank you so much.
Mwah. Thank you for joining.
Great class. Thank you.
Oh, good. I hope
So good.
Yes,
Yay.
thank you, Patricia.
You're welcome. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.